Welcome to Sub-Saharan Africa, where temperatures can exceed 40 degrees in the summer and barely any rain falls. In the southern part of the Namib Desert, beyond some of the tallest sand dunes in the world, sits Sossusvlei. Roughly translating to dead-end marsh, the salt and clay pan is surprisingly teeming with life despite its harshness. Fed by underground rivers and the early morning fog that often rolls in, Namibia's foremost tourist destination is one of the region's most photographed areas due to its striking natural beauty and otherworldly appearance. The brilliant white of the salt contrasts the red sand, while camelthorn trees sit scorched and blackened, punctuating the nearby barren salty plain of Deadvlei. Join me on the first tee as I explore Nitro22's fictionalised version, home to a 7,266-yard par 72 golf course. Hello everyone, hopefully you enjoyed that little opening package and it did the course justice. Felt like a fun way to show it off, and the way Nitro designs his sort of style really speaks to me. He focuses on building a really fun environment, a really cool environment, and throwing you into it and exploring it. It's a lot of fun, really enjoy it. He built Rail Club de Mallorca back in National Treasure 2021 that had a similar sort of vibe, and that was one of my favourite courses back then. So I'm not surprised that he's done the same kind of thing here, and again I love it. It's not the most difficult course, so hopefully I can get round without embarrassing myself, but it does present a fun sort of challenge that hopefully I'll get onto. The first hole kind of epitomises that. It's sort of short length par 4, just under 380 yards, particularly pin at the front, but it does kind of feel like a hole that you probably should be birdieing more often than not, which you kind of get that sort of vibe across the whole course. You're going to make more birdies than bogeys. It doesn't really punish you for being out of position, but it does mean that when you're not making birdies, you perhaps feel like you've missed out a touch, which is a lot of fun. I've played plenty of rounds at this course, and I've gone everywhere from like 2 or 3 under par down to like double figures, and 3-wood wedge to reasonably close. Feel like I should be making this putt, not to put too much pressure on it. But there's a really fun stretch, particularly at the end. I really like the closing stretch of this course, but I'll get to that when we get to it. I want to draw a bit of attention to a few things. I love the view on this second hole. We play out towards these sand dunes in the distance. Showed them off at the start. I think they're really cool. And the more sort of research I've done into the background of this course, the background of this area, the more things that have sort of popped out to me, and I really love the attention to detail. And so that plane in the background, that salt pan, is, I believe, meant to be a sort of rendition of Deadvlei, which is a salt pan. Those blackened, dead camelthorn trees, which are, again, I believe, the same sort of style of tree, the same species of tree as these ones, these acacia trees. Just those ones in the background are 500 years old and dead. So par 5, second hole, fairly accessible, not particularly challenging if you hit decent shots, on the fairway and up near the green. Similar sort of style to the first hole, where you feel like you should probably birdie it more often than not. And again, when you don't, it does feel like you've missed out. So here I've missed the green, but I'm not really in that much trouble. Should at the very least make par. But yeah, par sometimes doesn't feel like it's good enough. And reasonably stress-free birdie. So 2 under through 2. The third hole's a bit tougher, longer par 3. Does feed down quite nicely from this right-hand side. And sort of on the green is good. Like wherever you are on the green, you're going to have a reasonably good chance at 2-putting. So again, not too punishing for being out of position. I say that. Go on. That's not a bad shot, is it? Talking about the difficulty of the hole and then throw one into inside 5 feet. It's always fun. Didn't expect to be 3 under through 3. Fourth hole again. So we've kind of turned the corner. We're working our way back up towards this dried up riverbed. Sorry, and we've got a bit of a choice to make here. I do think perhaps it sort of makes itself in that if you can make the carry down the left hand side, you probably should. You're more likely to run into trouble going down the right. The bunker off in the distance, splitting the fairway, does pose somewhat of an issue, but I think it's worth the risk, especially with the wind at my back. Hit a pretty good one. Fairway kind of feeds down towards it, so it does sort of promote a draw, but it's a longer par 4. It's not excessively long, 480 from the back tees, but if you go down the right hand side, it leaves a very long way in with the second shot. Slightly uphill, and it does get blinded. You can just about see the flag, hopefully you can on YouTube, over the crest of the hill. That might be, well, I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than that, but uphill has taken some of the legs out of it. And another birdie chance. I really enjoy these courses that you've got these sweeping views over, and you can see other holes in the distance, and it makes it feel a lot more connected. These long views, again, a bit later in the round, there's some fantastic ones looking down future fairways and across past holes. I also like this. I think this is the only time on the course it does it, but it's not a shared fairway because we're obviously playing down different parts of it, but it joins in the middle. Nice little bit of attention to detail as well that I want to draw attention to. These tree roots here, I think they're quite fun, obviously using the dead tree, the fallen tree asset. It does make for a bit of chaos if you accidentally hit your ball in there, which I did once. And again, I quite like the look of the hole. I want to be a little bit further right than that to play into this green, and have a shorter club in, particularly when this pin's at the back. So I have made life a little bit tricky for myself, but hopefully I can find at least the middle of the green. I really like the layering of the bunkers again. I think that's a particularly strong point across the course. I think they kind of paint these nice meandering journeys up the hole. Not quite what I was aiming for with that. A little bit like slice, and wind's taking it that way as well. But again, hopefully not speaking too soon. But it's not the most punishing course. Could have been a little bit better. Slight testing par putt. But there's plenty of courses where these 12-foot putts and whatever are a lot tougher. But wasn't to be. That's a shame. Put the brakes on the round a little bit. Love the view on this hole, this par 3. Again, over that dried up lake bed. I think that's a really nice feature of the course. And yeah, really nice view. Come back to it. We started with it on the second hole. And yeah, this is, I think, as close as we get to it. And really cool. Those sand dunes as well, very impressive. It's an interesting hole. The green's fairly large, but shrunk by this bunker, which makes it a lot tougher, a lot less accessible, especially if the pin's on the left. That makes it a tiny little target area. But sort of anywhere that's not in that bunker, I'm hopefully okay with that. Feels like a pretty good shot. Yeah, throwing darts on the par 3s at the moment. Try not to jinx it. And another birdie chance. Hey, we're good. So par 5 again coming up. This is where I feel like the play style of the course and the sort of lack of punishment of being out of position sort of comes into effect. The course is fairly receptive to kind of just a bomb and gouge sort of play style. I feel like being in these greenside bunkers in 2 or anywhere around the green in 2 is not terrible, assuming you've hit the fairway, obviously. You can lay up down this left side of the fairway and have a straighter shot in down the green, or down the length of the green. But I think hitting driver off the tee and not running out of fairway, or not risking running out of fairway, as long as you hit a straight one. Again, the bomb and gouge play style, it's not really punished. I feel like being in one of these bunkers isn't the end of the world. And yeah, again, I've played the course plenty of times. I've had a fair bit of success playing this way. So maybe, I mean, we're going to see how bad being in one of these bunkers is, but yeah, it's not a bad thing to have a course that's scoreable. It does mean that perhaps mistakes aren't hugely punished, but like I said, it makes for a fun round where missing out on birdies does almost feel like a drop shot. See, that 5 feels a lot like a bogey. Kind of jinxed it, didn't I, by saying that being in the bunker's not too out of position, but it wasn't a great bunker shot, and it wasn't a great first putt. Now we sort of start our journey back towards the clubhouse. This hole feels awkward to play. You want to be further left to avoid coming in over that bunker so much. I think it's a short enough approach that it sort of doesn't really matter, and the fairway banks you to the left as well. So again, on the fairway is kind of the most important bit, I think, so that you can spin up a wedge and hold, particularly to this back pin that's sloping away from you. And I've got the wind at my back, so yeah, I'm going to be pretty happy with on the green. I think maybe what he's going for as well is that if you're further right and you hold the high side of the fairway, you don't have a blind approach shot, which would be more impactful playing the course for real or playing the course without the scout camera. Obviously that provides a huge advantage to the golfers, that we can zoom forward and have a look at where we're going. And back on the birdie train with any luck. I like the ninth. It's a little bit chaotic. I really love playing back towards this clubhouse. I think it's fantastic. I think it really fits the vibe. It feels like a sort of resort style building that, I don't know, maybe there's hotel rooms or whatever in it, or it's certainly the kind of focal point. And I think that's really cool. Yeah, bit chaotic sort of landing area. Kind of have to thread the needle. You could try and hit driver up to a really tight portion of the fairway. But I found that leaves an awkward pitch in that doesn't always have all that much room to work with. You're sort of judging pitching it on the fairway, which makes life more difficult. I found that having a full shot in is perhaps the way to go. And again, heaping pressure on myself with a bit of perhaps foreshadowing, but maybe that's slightly further back than I would have wanted, but takes the bunkers out of play. Slightly uphill, but I've got the wind at my back. I can try and muscle a wedge there. I realise that my guy doesn't hit the ball past the end of his nose, which does make playing courses, can make them a bit of a challenge. But I do enjoy that aspect of this game, that people are hitting at different distances. You have to design to cater for that. And even so, it doesn't feel like the biggest challenge, this course. So I don't know if playing as a longer hitter lets you overpower the course a bit more. But it's not automatic. There are some decisions to be made. Prime example here. Got to pick where we want on the fairway. Sort of mid-length par 4. Again, coming in from the fairway is the most important aspect. So being on the fairway, so you can play for the fat side, if you will, down the left, and maximise your chance of hitting it. I think I'm probably not going to run through the fairway, and I'm hoping that wind's going to maybe counteract my slight cut that I've got on the go, and can thread the needle and yeah, maybe just fly it over the bunkers as well. So that's about as good a shot as I've ever hit here. Leaving a 9-iron in is more than I could really hope for. But yeah, if you're further back, it's a bit more challenging. You potentially have to deal with that cross bunker if you're coming out of the rough with a longer club, if you've missed the fairway left, for example. Or you can just hit one of the worst swings you've ever seen and miss the green. But again, not hugely out of position, even after a terrible miss. So can hopefully recover, and that's a better chip than some of the others that I've hit. And yeah, that bunker down the right-hand side of the green is a long way out of play. You've got to really messed up to find yourself in that one. It's possibly worth noting that this is now the third hole in a row that's had a sort of centerline hazard. Maybe not so much centerline on the 8th, but they are, sorry, the 9th, but they are on the fairway. Another longer par 4 as well. A bit more of an accessible green here, a bit more punch bowl and funneling shots in towards the green. You want to be approaching from the left side of the fairway, but I think there's enough room that playing down the right isn't too punishing. Also worth noting, I probably haven't drawn enough attention to the visuals of the course. You don't want to be in the bunker. But I really like how things are looking. I really like just the visual style of the course as much as anything, but yeah, just how well it's made. I think it's stunning. The lighting's really good. The views are really good. The use of trees to frame everything is fantastic. I like the bunker shapes and everything. They're a bit haphazard, a bit random, but it feels like it suits the area. Being in that centerline bunker meant I had to lay up, so hoping that I can save par here, but making life a bit more difficult for myself. Making life very difficult for myself. So maybe jump the gun on saying I hope I don't embarrass myself with my play here. Who's watching? We're saving par from everywhere. Long par 5 here, with a tough green to access, but again, I feel like being in one of these bunkers isn't the end of the world, and you've still got a reasonable chance of making birdie. I think the idea is maybe you want to try and take it on over these bunkers, and you maybe take the tree on the right outplay. You can imagine that being here, you maybe have to fashion something around it. But I think it's kind of receptive again to the sort of hit it as far as you can and hope you're up near the green sort of approach. So maybe this isn't ideal with the wind at my back, slightly uphill. Yeah, as long as I'm maybe not in the lake bed, riverbed, I should be okay. I say that and then I hit another terrible one. But I can test my theory that greenside bunkers aren't the end of the world, and hope to knock something close and maybe, yeah, reasonable shot, not setting the world alight again. So par 5s are difficult to protect, and they're difficult to without water, difficult to really make them punishing. Perhaps feel that maybe I shouldn't be missing the green like that and still making birdie, but it is a video game and it's not always the most difficult thing to do. So long par 3, I like that the green's relatively undefended on such a long shot, and it's fairly simple. So again, like anywhere on the green is broadly quite good. You've got a reasonably good chance of two putting. I am between clubs here with this wind into my face, but I hope this is going to run up the green. It's going to carry far enough and run the rest of the way. Yeah, in fact, gone further than I thought. So lucky I clubbed down. I wasn't between clubs. I just don't know my distances. This would be a very good 2 on a long par 3, and caught the lip and dropped. So is that every par 3? I think there's 16 still to come, but I think I'm 3 under through 3 par 3s. Another hole. This is quite reminiscent of the first, I feel. It's a fairly easy drive. You perhaps don't want to spin up a shot too much into the green and risk spinning back off the false front kind of thing. But this again feels like a hole that I should be putting myself in a position to birdie, and not making a birdie is going to feel like a dropped shot, which feels like a bit of a theme of the course, and you could quite easily walk off with a round of 5, 6, 8 under and feel like you've left quite a lot out there. So yeah, maybe a good one to boost the ego a little bit and go and chase the score. Breaking putt here. Give it a good try. Underhit that badly, but make up par. And get into a finishing stretch here that I really enjoy. These last 4 holes, I think they might be the best holes on the course. Obviously, I love the view on the 6th, but I really enjoy this finishing stretch. So this is another tough par 4, especially when the pin's at the front and on this left side. Luckily, I've got the wind at my back, so I might be able to squeeze out a bit more distance here. But this hole is perhaps the most power advantage hole on the course, where the further you are, the shorter approach you're going to have in. So I've had long irons into this green before, and into this pin in particular. It's not the easiest, but being able to get in with an 8 iron, hopefully. Nope, should have been 7 iron. So perhaps the most punishing miss on the course, and maybe the one that I really didn't want to do. But it's a fairly flat green, and that's as good a bunker shot as I'm ever going to hit. So I can make up and down for par, and again, even being as out of position as possible, really. That's not the most difficult pass, Dave. Here we go. I love this view. I love this sort of I feel like this is the start of the finishing stretch, the last 3 holes. Short par 3, which probably isn't as easy as it might appear. It's considerably downhill, which makes judging the club choice quite tough. And the green is fairly small, and it's made even smaller by the fact that it's got this weird shape to it, and the bunker cuts in on the right-hand side. And you've got to be on the money, haven't got a lot of margin for error. And this might be one where you don't want to miss the green. Being in that bunker on the right in particular, you possibly hit an approach to a green that's sloping away from you. So yeah, money on the money here. And can I make it 4 from 4 on the par 3s? I've got a chance. A little bit of a bending putt. Hey, we're good. Yeah, I love the planting style. I think it's fantastic. The grass and the sand dunes, they're all just feeling like the area it's very representative of the area it's meant to be. So 17 is a fun little, almost drivable par 4. This is where, again, I feel like this is perhaps the pin position that's least receptive to just blasting it up there, because being in that bunker is a really short-sighted miss. But for other pin positions, I feel like it's, again, perhaps a bit more receptive to blasting away. I've not really worked out what the correct way to play it is, though, if you will. I think trying to knock a drive up there and chip down the length of the green, down this sort of angle, is a pretty good way to go. I feel like trying to leave a full shot in, I'm just bringing that bunker into play on my second shot anyway, so yeah, up near the green is a bonus. Try and hammer one. It's not the best swing, a bit leaky, and me bringing up a bunker is a surefire way to make sure I go in it. But perhaps this is one where I can't actually go at the pin from missing the green, being caught a little bit out of position. So try and have to fashion something. I will say of the last 3 holes, this feels the most awkward to me. I really like 16 as a par 3, and I love 18, which we'll get to in a second. But another birdie chance, not as close as some of the others, but even after being caught out of position, it doesn't quite drop. But you can maybe see how on another day with a slightly better putter, the course is very scoreable. I love this finishing hole though. Not the longest par 5. Kind of just got to miss the bunker, I feel. Coming in from either side of the fairway. If you're coming in from the left, perhaps you've got to contend with that little knoll, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. And again, you're not really going to be too out of position, especially down the right. Being in the bunker on the left, again, might be a tough miss. But I think it's relatively forgiving. And being a shorter par 5, it's going to be accessible in 2 for most people. Often with an iron. I've got a hybrid in, wind slightly into my face, so it's making it a little bit longer. But being in the fairway bunker or that bunker down the left might mean you've got to lay up, contend with the sort of great hazard, which means that you're probably not making you're taking 3 out of the equation. You might not be making your birdie as well. So you are a little bit more punished there. Which is fun. It's a fun finishing stretch where I feel like you could potentially go 3, 4, 5 under through the last 3 or 4 holes, but you could also struggle. You could also go around level par without doing too much wrong. And we finished with an eagle. So yeah, thank you very much to Nitro for a fantastic course. One of my favourites. Love the environment and I love exploring it. And really enjoyed it. I think it's a course that you guys should absolutely go and check out if you've got the opportunity to. And hopefully this is going to be the first of a series, and I'm going to go and check out and show off a few other courses from some of my other favourite designers and see how we get on. But until next time, guys, that's going to be all from me. So I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.